Hello Internet, and welcome to another edition of A Lock and Some History. I have a Master Lock 410 this time. Not because I think I can get this open while I tell this little factoid about an event, but whether or not it get open, I believe it's going to take me a while, and I'm going to need a bit more time for this one. Because this is about the Le Mans crash from 1955. A crash that, quite frankly, changed everything about motorsport. Because prior to that, it really wasn't that strict in terms of safety at all. In fact, it's a story in itself, but the 1952 race is also a fairly interesting story. But that's for another time. In 55, the big players who were expected to win the race overall were Jaguar and Mercedes. One lap of the race, a Mercedes collided with a slower car coming out of the pits, which at that time weren't a separate straight. They were quite literally part of the main straight. The car would pull over the side into their quote-unquote pit box and be serviced, refueled, and tires changed and everything. Much longer process than that time. Well, as it was coming out, it was struck by one of the leading Mercedes, and the wreckage of this crash went into the mass of spectators. Several people died, dozens of more were injured, and Mercedes would withdraw their other car from the race. It provoked quite a bit of backlash. In fact, because of this accident, in Switzerland, pretty much to this day, motorsport is effectively banned. A lot of big manufacturers pulled out of motorsport altogether. Far-reaching consequences. Safety regulations were put in, barriers were put up between the racetrack and the spectators. Numerous changes were made, all in an effort to calm people down and appease the panic. It, quite frankly, has consequences that resonate to this day. And quite frankly, that same carefree, devil-may-care attitude that permeated motorsport before then never really re-emerged. And motorsports have continued on a legacy of becoming safer to this day. That said, motorsport is still dangerous. And racing drivers can and do still die. The most recent death at Le Mans, for example, I believe was 2012, and was quite a tragic event because it happened to the Aston Martin team while they were having a big anniversary celebration and pretty much pulled out all the stops for the event. To kind of honor their lost driver, they continued the race to completion, because as the racing family of the driver, they felt it's what they would their fallen driver would have wanted. So motorsport is still dangerous, but nowhere near as dangerous as it was. If I remember correctly, I believe Mercedes pulled out of Motorsport for a while because of this crash. And kind of acts that happened at the Le Mans race of 52 never really ever show up in Motorsport again. Now let's see if I can get this open for you here. It does feel like I got several of these pins set. It should also probably be mentioned at the time, but drivers at the time did not really use seat belts in the 50s. And all that sounds crazy today, but they felt it was preferable to be thrown from the car and killed impacting whatever it is they eventually hit, versus being strapped in the car, knocked out, and being burnt alive. Because there weren't any flame retardant suits or contain fuel cells that modern racing cars have. Le Mans Crash 55 pretty much started the push to make motorsport safer. Why aren't you opening? Well, that's pretty much all I have to say. I did not get this unlocked for you. But until next time, subscribe if you want, and most importantly, have a nice day.